everyone. Merry Christmas. Here's a quick little last-minute video for some ideas if you're bored or need a couple of quick gifts. This is assuming, of course, that you already have some kind of soap base sitting around and a mold. Kind of probably a little too late to try to get those, but you never know. You might find a sale at Michael's or one of the other craft stores. You might be able to pick up something there. As you see, many of you have seen this footage before, so some of this is redone. I am just making crystals. This is how I make my crystals. And the reason you saw me angling that knife and playing around with it at the beginning is I'm showing you that I am cutting on an angle for the first cuts of these. I cut them into larger crystals on an angle, and I angle it and I vary the angle as much as possible and alternate back and forth so that they're not all the same angle and they don't end up looking square. We're going for more of crystal points or crystal facets, something that just doesn't look like cubes, which is very easy to get to if you're just chopping regularly like you normally would just chop soap. Sprinkling a little bio glitter. It's actually really glittering mica. There are several other names for it, and I keep saying I'm going to put it up on the screen and I forget. There'll be nothing on the screen today because these are do with what you have kind of soaps right now, since we're very last minute on these. And they're just ideas to spark your creativity. So I was picking up those crystals, the larger ones, to just show you how it catches the glitter on the edges of the facets. And that's one of the reasons I do it this way. I prefer to do it this way rather than shaking it in a bag. You can do that as well. I just like that look. And then I created the smaller crystals by chopping straight or angled. You can do either one at that point. Once you get the angles on the first cuts, you can just straight up and down chop and make them smaller, because they already have some that are off and are not 90-degree angles. I'm pouring my soap fairly hot. You'll see me dividing it. That's because I was doing several different types of soap, as you may see. At the end, I will be linking my playlist that has, I'll do the seasonal playlist. It has all of those soaps that you see there. If you're interested in learning how to do those. I popped in my fragrance again. Use what you have. I prefer a fragrance that smells kind of like a Christmas tree if I'm doing Christmas trees. So that's what I used. And the basic instructions for this is I pour about half and then shove a handful of crystals after I've rolled them in glitter a little bit. And I push them into, try to get them into the corners specifically of the mold and fill it up. And then I usually end up topping it off a little more. You could go aim for like 2/3 when you're filling the cavity before you add the crystals, but I always start with half and then put more on top. You do want to pour a little hotter than you would with a lot of soaps, because the minute you put a fistful of crystals into that mold, it's cooling the soap that's already there. And it can sometimes cool too quickly if you're not careful. So I wouldn't pour it normally. I would be pouring a soap with embeds at like 127, 126, something like that. But this I pour at about 130, 133. And that's using Crafter's Choice soaps, which have a lower melting point than some. For the rose quartz one, all I did is I did white at the top, kind of a rose gold in the middle, and more of a pink at the bottom. You don't have to do it that way. I like, if I'm doing a layered effect for a gemstone look, I like to put the lightest at the top, because then it kind of looks like a snow-covered tree, in my opinion. So that's the way I do it for soaps like that. I do the same with my amethyst. I just use shades of purple instead. White at the top, a lighter purple in the middle, and a darker purple on the bottom. And you can manipulate them if you're working kind of quickly. Just either take a stick or a spoon or a spatula that's small enough to fit into your mold, and just you kind of move them to the side. If you want them to stay at the top, you move them at the top, and when you put the next set of crystals in, they're not going to have anywhere to go by the time you get all of those in there. And then again, I top it off with a little more soap. You might want to double check and make sure that that soap at the end is also still pretty hot. I wouldn't worry about it melting your crystals unless you're only putting a few in there. But the soap going on the back, if it's not poured hot, it's just going to come off as a layer that did not quite adhere when you go to take it out of the mold. So you saw me trimming with the knife. If there's any crystals on the back, I like to trim them because it makes it a lot easier to wrap and label. If there's a bunch of lumps sticking up, it makes it quite difficult to have a label on the back, which is where I put my ingredients list. This one, I was kind of going for the look of, I don't know how to say it, kyanite, I'm not sure, but it is one of my favorite gemstones. I just don't know how to say it. Kyanite is how you spell it. But I do make a regular set of crystals that I have a variety of designs for. And this is one of them. It doesn't look like this at all. It actually looks like the real stone. And that's something I'll be doing in the new year, is showing you how I come up with my crystal designs. Again, this one is kind of more generic. It's rose quartz. And as you know, rose quartz sometimes has regular quartz in there as well that doesn't have the coloring, the iron oxide coloring in it. So the colors will vary quite a bit, and you'll have some white quartz or clear quartz mixed in. And that's just kind of a generic way to show that. I think it's easily recognizable as rose quartz. It's not necessarily going for a reality look with these, but just indicating, if you see, especially something like this, that it's a Christmas tree, but you can tell it's supposed to be rose quartz, I think anyway. But yes, I do plan on making a video in the new year, fairly early on in the new year, about how I design my crystal soaps, because I've shown you several different techniques, not all of them, but it's more about, to me, it's more about the research of what does the stone look like, what does it look like in its raw state, what does it look like when it's polished, and then trying to figure out a way to try to replicate that look in soap. And I'm excited for that video. Anyway, these are the ones I made for this year. These are just ideas you can do, as you'll see here. I've got pictures of a variety that I did in crystal trees. But also, you'll see in a moment, I've done several other Christmas tree designs. Some of them you've seen the videos for, and I will link those, of course, but in the playlist for my seasonal soaps. But also, there's some you have not seen, and if I get a chance to, as these kind of fly by, because I did put a lot in here, as they go by, I want to tell you a little bit about how quickly you could do these, because some of them are just not that hard. This one is in a video. It's in my video that I made the little presents. Christmas presents, Christmas gifts, and same with this, because I'm sorry, it was the ribbon candy, not the presents, the ribbon candy soaps. This is called a crushed velvet look, and this is the one I do, kind of imitating the resin look, and it uses saran wrap or Glad wrap or whatever cling wrap, some kind of plastic wrap to get the wrinkled look. And I do have several tutorials on this look, and as you see, I did several colors. This is my other resin look that you use a little dropper, a little pipette, and put clear little drops on a layer of clear, and then you back it up with mica and black soap. I also have several tutorials on this look, and most of the time they are also tutorials for the crushed velvet look, because I was going for a resin theme. These are just plain ones. You see I added little stars. Those little stars were just cut using a little, oh goodness, now I can't think of the word. A little cutter, a little mini star cutter. The balls, little bulbs in all of these, Those are just made in the ends of the massage bar, the little nibs. I just made them there and then made a clear layer, popped them in, added more clear when that was set up, and then added white over the back. The singing Christmas tree, that one will take a tutorial for next year unless you just want to go for it and try it. These are just sheets of thin soap rolled up and popped in place where I wanted them. These are obviously, well, I guess obvious to somebody who's seen it before. These are my shredded trees. These are the shredded soaps. You can take, you can make the colors of soaps you want and shred them and combine them in different combinations and add a little glitter and put them in. I do the same thing. Fill it about half full, put a fistful of shreds in there, and there you go. I hope you enjoyed this and got something from it, and I hope you enjoy whatever holidays you celebrate. Thanks. Bye.